What to do when things are not going your way. What's going on, guys? I'm Spencer Claeys, and as I'm sitting here, this is the first episode I'm recording back in my office. Our house, if you didn't know, flooded 2 months ago, and apparently construction takes a long fucking time, but it took 2 months, and now we're finally moved back in. But not gonna lie, guys, I know I talk a lot about success, money, mindset, all that stuff. These last 2 months have been some of the toughest that I've had to go through in a long time. My wife is pregnant. We just got back from our honeymoon, literally that week. And then we came back and we were here for a couple of days and our house fucking flooded. And so we obviously have amazing friends, family. We were staying at hotels. You know, business isn't really a problem. We could still make money. I still have my guys working full time. But it was more the mental aspect of things are not going my way. And I'm used to things going my way, right? So it's kind of this mental prison that we put ourselves in so much. So I want to talk today about some of the things that really I've been thinking about a lot and stuff that's gotten me through other things in the past. Because, you know, it's a really interesting thing when we talk about mental trauma, because it's my house flooded and it's there's people out there who are oh, I don't even have a house. I'm sleeping on the streets. Or maybe they're in the country. Hey, I don't even have food to eat. So it's this weird thing of being complaining as a human brain. Everyone perceives their own trauma and pain in a certain way. And everyone honestly feels the same pain. I would argue that most people feel the same amount of pain every day. Like a rich person, when they see that their favorite parking spot at Irwan or wherever in LA, when they see their favorite parking spot is taken, they're going to be mad versus some other person oh, I didn't get food today. It's a weird thing, but when you see people enough and you've talked to enough people, you realize that everyone's got their own inner battles, their own inner feelings going on. So it is what it is. But today, I mean, for you guys, for men watching this video, the reason that we feel so angry and powerless is when things are not in our control, right? We are men. We like to fucking control things. That's what in essence power is. Power is the ability to control you, what you do. And the thing you got to realize is that we are just these little creatures on this earth. I wouldn't say that we're these little ants, because I remember hearing some philosopher was oh, in a billion years, nothing we do is going to matter. And I would disagree. I mean, what about Elon Musk? You know, what is that guy going to do? What if we go to Mars? What if we colonize that? What if who knows? You can't really say stuff like that. But I do think that everything we do here, we have a little bit over estimation of our own abilities. And I'll give you guys a quick example. Last week I went fishing out off the coast of Washington, not super far. We're literally in one of these sea kayaks, and they're specially designed. They're almost impossible to flip, knock on wood. But so we're fishing, and it's still winter. So this is some of the worst weather that is in the entire year. So we're fishing and it's sunny. It's pretty windy. It's 39 degrees. It's cold, but at least it's sunny. And then we go out literally that. Within 5 minutes, it starts blistering winds, rain, even hail is hitting our faces so hard. I had to turn my hat down so that I can actually see where I'm going as we're furiously paddling back to shore. We were fishing for a few hours. We caught a couple, and then within 5-10 minutes, boom, it's back to sunny again. And something that I remember as this hail is hitting my face, it's okay, it's gonna stop, it's gonna end. There's nothing I can do about it. So, and that's a really good metaphor for life, because I feel oftentimes when we get out in nature and we really see how the universe is, it is a violent, chaotic place. Nothing is you can't control Mother Nature, you can't control the sea, you can't control anything. And it's a really good lesson that in our own lives, we're trying to control this, we're trying to control that, and it's bro, you can't even control the fucking weather. You can't control anything. And so it's just it's kind of a humbling experience as a man, especially a man who's trying to come to terms with where he's at in this world. And especially, me, I'm trying to build my business. I'm raising a family here soon. So it's something that I know I'm going to have to it's going to be a lifelong lesson, because having kids, that's one of the hardest tasks you could do. That's the essence of not being able to control someone, is because you're going to have this little being that wants to do what it wants to do, and they don't want to listen to you. So it's something that as men, we're always going to be struggling with, but just really kind of taking a deep breath. And also another thing too, I mean, I mentioned going outside in nature to see the chaos, but also going outside in nature. Like when I had some days that it was like shit was like bad, you know, like stuff had happened. And when you're like out of your comfort zone, it like everything like is like you're like 3 times more sensitive. You know, when you're fucking basically homeless, like things kind of like, I mean, my wife will tell you, I was like on edge a lot of the time. Like one little tiny thing could set me off, like fuck. And so it's just like, but going outside, taking a little walk in nature almost always helps. It always soothes. And I know that sounds very basic, like no duh, but like literally do it. Like go walk outside anytime you feel stress. And another thing too is don't lie in bed with your feelings. Anytime you are in the morning or at night, you're lying in bed, that is when like the doubt, the anxiety, the fear loves to set in, because it's when you're stagnant, you're not doing anything. But when you're outside and you're moving around, it's very hard for these negative feelings to attach to you, because I don't exactly know why, but I know that once, like literally when you're moving, you have momentum already. Like, and so I would say if anyone's fucking feeling shitty, sad, depressed, whatever, literally go start moving, go outside. I promise you're going to feel better. It's when when you're laying down, that's when the things start to creep in on you. So that's another thing. Another thing that I did too is I will read some of my favorite books and especially favorite movies. I'll rewatch. Like I used to read so many different books. I'd go through 50 books a year or whatever, like a book a week. Now it's like I'm probably going through like 10, 15, 20 books a year, but I'm reading the same books. And there's just comfort that comes from like reading a book that you've read before, watching a movie that you've seen before that I really like. And I'll even do this with songs. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I'll listen to the same song like dozens and dozens of times in a day. Like I'll be just listening to this one fucking song. And I don't know, something that I like about it, and especially like reading books. Like I'm reading How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. If you haven't read it, it's a fantastic book. It's the title sounds kind of gimmicky, like How to Get Rich, but it's a lot about mindset, because he had to deal with a lot of failure, the ups and downs, because as you and me, we are entrepreneurs. Our job is to deal with problems, right? So we have to realize that there's going to be some fucking massive ups and downs. We're fixing problems. And a lot of the times those problems creep into our own life. Like if our client is having an issue, now it becomes our fucking issue. So there's a lot of stress that you have to be able to deal with. And if you can't deal with the stress, then you really need, like he mentions in the book, you really need to decide if you want to become rich because of your own inner demons. It can't even be like a desire that you want. You can't just want it. It has to be something that you need to do. Like for me, I need to make this happen. I need to make business work. I need to be successful. It's not even something that I've thought about like quitting. You know, when things are getting hard, like things can be hard as fuck sometimes. I have a shitty, terrible week, terrible day, whatever. But the thought doesn't even come through of like, oh, maybe I'm going to quit and go get a job. It literally doesn't, it's not even like in my programming. Whereas like a lot of people who are still new on this journey, it's still kind of like, oh, maybe I should go back to work. And so if that thought is encroaching into your brain too many times, maybe you should go back to work. Maybe you should get a job. And this isn't for everyone. And I will say that with 100% certainty, because I remember watching like an Alex Hormozi video where he was like, I saw this video when things were going great. You know, sometimes we're hitting like 30, 40, 50K months with businesses and stuff. And I remember watching this. He's like, entrepreneurship is like getting kicked in the nuts multiple times and still keeping going. And I was like, it's not that hard. Like entrepreneurship isn't that hard. But like the last 2 months have taught me like, oh, I was getting kicked in the nuts daily. I tell you guys, like, and so now I kind of get it. And as I'm becoming a little bit older and maturing, I'm seeing a little bit more like the young entrepreneurs, like especially like the crypto guys, you know, those guys, maybe they're making good money or whatnot, but like as soon as shit hits the fan, they're going to be fucking questioning their lives. And they haven't had to go through the struggles that a lot of the stuff you and I have gone through, because we've had to earn our way to the top. And so, but there's a certain power that comes with that, because as I believe Seneca was talking about, as long as you can, like, he would do like the fear setting. That's kind of where Tim Ferriss got it. It's like, okay, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? You lose your house, you lose your job, you don't have any food. Okay, you sleep under a bridge, you have to eat bread for a little bit, or you don't eat for a bit. like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen right now? So when I'm in that fear, I'm like, okay, like, this really isn't that bad. You know, we still have a place to stay, we're still making money. But what is the worst case? Okay, if I lost everything, I would just go door to door. I would clean gutters. Like, things aren't that bad, you know. It's like, as long as we have, and it sounds like corny to say, when I was going through all this shit, I was like, okay, at least we have our health, at least we're healthy. And it sounded like, that's corny, but it really is true, because a healthy man wants 1,000 things, but a sick man only wants one thing. And so we got to remember that as young, healthy men, we have everything. And just because a couple things aren't going right, which our brain tends to focus on, for some reason, that's the human element, which I would argue is the best thing for society, is being in content. Like, that's why humans have conquered the planet, because we are discontent with our surroundings. We want to make things better. We want to improve, which other animals, like only like, I guess, beavers, they like to build dams and stuff. But every other animal on the planet, they just kind of accept their lot in life. Maybe they'll like migrate to a different spot on the planet, but for the most part, they just kind of accept it. They just sit there and they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna either live or die. Like, but humans, we build skyscrapers, we build massive buildings, we force things to change and if we gotten comfortable, anytime you're too fucking comfortable, like, I'm kind of getting to the close here, but like, anytime you're too fucking comfortable, if that's how we had stayed, if that was our modus operandi as Neanderthals, we would have stayed in caves. So anytime you're feeling uncomfortable, just realize that is literally your caveman programming telling you to be safe, and you need to break out of that. It's going to be fine, bro. So things are going to be up and down, and you got to learn to ride with the waves. Just like being out on the kayak, out on the sea, things are going to be up and down. The waves are going to come, but the storm is not going to last forever. Night does not last forever. There is some fucking sunshine coming. So if you, as Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going. And he said that in World War II. That quote literally gives me chills, because they had just lost Dunkirk, I believe, and they were, fighting the Nazis. They were like, a lot of people were trying to get them to sign the peace treaty with the Nazis, and their whole city. I mean, imagine how the world would be different right now if Winston Churchill hadn't said, no, fuck that, we're going to keep going. No matter how hard it is, we are not going to give in. So I hope this helps some of you guys who maybe, when things are not going well, watch this video. I know I'll probably rewatch this video in another year or two when things aren't going well, because it's, no matter what level you're at, you're going to have fucking problems. So you got to learn how to deal with it, learn how to ride with the waves. When things are going great, fucking hammer it, do your best. And when things are bad, just kind of ride it out, wait for the good times. Obviously put in every single thing that you can do, but realize so much is out of your control. So I hope this helped you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe. Obviously, I have my paid communities below, and I will see you in the next video. Let's go.